Yeah, evening everyone. I know I said I wasn't going to do another video, but there is a little story I wanted to do because I've only told this story to a few different people, and one of them got the story all wrong. Mate of mine, Jamie Aberley, sadly, another friend of mine, youngster as well, that's no longer with us. From Carshalton. He died sadly a few years ago, drugs related again, and actually he's from Carshalton, but a lot of his family moved down to Littlehampton, down that way. Yeah, so I remember I was in a detox with him, and he got this story all mixed up. Obviously wasn't listening properly, but I'll do this story again and try and do it properly. So basically, 92, yeah. So I was in my cell on House Block 2 in Belmarsh, and like I've said before, Lenny was there, Lenny McLean. He was in the cell opposite me. But like I say, when you're in Belmarsh, sometimes you might be locked in your cell while other cons be out. They could be out on association or getting out for different jobs or whatever, and you could be locked up. It's not everyone out at the same time, because it's a maximum security prison and they only let a few of you out at each time, but Lenny, being very well known in the criminal world and through unlicensed fighting and all that, through the boxing, the screws, they used to let him out with the cleaners so he'd get extra time out of his cell, and this time I was in my cell, he was out, and he was talking to this guy Martin. I think Martin, I've mentioned it before, he's from Croydon area. He had a big scar on his face, looked like a villain. He used to talk to Lenny a lot, and he used to come, he wasn't on our spur, but he was on one of the spurs next to us, and he was the paper guy. He'd deliver the papers each day, because this is the early 90s, and people get their newspaper. That's how you found out about things going on outside. So Lenny got his paper every day, which was the Sun. And at the time, 1992, there was a big thing in the papers at that time. Obviously Lenny's case, where he was a bouncer at the Hippodrome, and that guy, he died. Very sad, but it wasn't Lenny's fault. He was just doing his job as a bouncer, and eventually, he got out. He got his sentence, 18 months for that, for ABH, I think it was, or GBH. I think it was ABH, and obviously it all came out. It wasn't his fault that this guy had gone to the Hippodrome, had died, but it came out in the case that it was due to him being arrested earlier on that night, and there'd been an altercation with the police, and that's possible what caused his injuries. So yeah, forgetting about that, yeah, Lenny's doing his time, and yeah, this day, like I said, it's the early 90s, and apart from Lenny's story being in the paper, also at that time, around 1992, there was a big thing in all the national newspapers about the law being changed about raping your wife specifically, because until, I don't know, but a lot of people probably won't know this, but until 1992, you could actually rape your wife and get away with it. Not that you'd want to do that sort of stuff, but that's just probably a very old law that wasn't changed. And then in about 1992, it was changed that rape during marriage, with your partner, was no longer legal, right? So this was all over the newspapers and stuff like that, yeah. So I remember I was in my cell, I was locked up, and standing outside my cell, I could see through the little hatch or through the little gaps in the doorways. I could see Lenny standing there with this Martin, and Martin's giving him his newspaper for the day, and it's got this headline on it. And I remember Lenny saying, because it's quite funny, but I remember him saying to that Martin, you know what, Right, and if anyone asks me what I'm in for, I'm going to tell him as he's looking at the paper. If anyone asks me what I'm in here for, I'm going to tell them I'm in here for raping my wife, you know. And he said that as if to say, what he was saying was like, if anyone says to me, and what are you in here for, Lenny? He's going to say, I'm in here for raping my wife, as if to say, well, what are you going to do about it? What are you even asking me for? Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, that actually happened. True story. And that's just to give you a little insight into Lenny's sense of humour at the time. And, you know, always looking for, he'd always be ready for a fight, basically, you know. So basically, yeah, if anyone had a problem with what he was going to say he was in for, then he'd be like, let's have it, you know. So, you know, that's a true story. I've told a few people, so I'm going to put this up there and see how it goes. But other than that, just want to say hi to everyone, and yeah, I'll do something else soon. Thanks.